So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with all of you. What you'll need to know is that everything that we do is posted on our website. So anytime you have a question about where to look for something, usually your first go-to is our website. And here's just our basic landing page. And most likely, if you're looking for cross-registration, you're going to head directly to our cross-registration page. But you also might want to note that there are frequently asked questions here, which cover a lot of cross-registration topics. And then, of course, we have other areas of interest that you might want to peruse at your leisure. But because today we're focused on cross-registration, I'm going to go ahead and start there. So on our cross-registration page, you'll usually see some form of announcement at the top. We try to make sure that if you pull this up on your phone, you're on the go, you can just see really quickly where we're at with the upcoming semester's dates, whether that's add drop period or like it says right now, the opening date for the next semester's registrations. We also continue to have a link here. I will update that. That's supposed to say spring 23. With all your COVID-19 protocols, I would like to note that with the ongoing return to our new normal in this stage, we are saying that as long as you are in compliance with your home schools guidelines and they track your compliance with certain vaccination protocols and booster protocols, your registrar is the one who will approve you to cross-register, understanding that you are also in compliance with the host school's policies and procedures. So if you have any questions about COVID-19 protocols, you'll want to contact your home institution, so your registrar at your institution. We also have a very quick get started bullet point list here. So if you're completely new to cross-registration, there's a couple things that you should know. We only do cross-registration amongst students who are already enrolled at a BTI member institution. That's because we're a consortium that is on a membership model that sits in the middle of all 11 BTI member schools. So to participate in cross-registration, you don't actually enroll through us, you're enrolled at your member school. It is completely free. There are no other fees, no other associated shenanigans that happen financially. This is included as part of your enrollment at your school. That being said, because your tuition likely only covers fall and spring semesters, we currently do not offer summer courses through the BTI, just fall, spring, and then included in there January and August intensives. If you're looking for the catalog, right, we tell you that you can zip down to that button below. And the catalog includes all courses that are approved and available for cross-registration. Not every course at every school is pre-approved for cross-registration. So you do want to check our catalog against anything you might see posted on another school's website, because these are the ones that we've been told by the registrars are open for cross-registration. That being said, you'll see here, if you believe you have an exception to that listing, if you see a class and it's not listed and you really want to take it, there's some pre-existing exception that I don't know about, your registrar doesn't know about, you can shoot us an email at btioffice@bostontheological.org. That is your go-to email for any questions around cross-registration and really anything to do with the BTI. Once you look at the catalog and you have that number, you can go through the cross-registration process. It's really important that you note the requirements of the course. That includes prerequisites and professor approval. We also have created this full-on step-by-step guide. So this, there we go. It took a second to load there. You can look at here and you can see exact screenshots. You can see how to log in, how to fill out the new student form, which is how you get your login credentials, and some tips and tricks for making sure our security doesn't block you from doing so, and on and on. This is a full-on step-by-step guide. So remember that that's always present, and you can also access a little flow chart of the process, just if you need a visual. I'm a very visual learner of how this process goes. So we'll just go through this because it's really easy. You fill out your new student form using your school address. You're issued a login via email. Your registrar will approve you. If they deny you, that is a question that they usually have around what you wrote on the form that might conflict with what they know. And they'll tell you in the email you get if you have any issues that you need to resolve with them to make sure you can cross-register. You'll choose a class, like we said, in the catalog. Then you'll log in, submit the request. It'll go directly to your registrar first because they need to make sure it fits with your course plan. Then it will go to the host and they will enter you in their system at the school that you are going to attend. And then you get a registration complete notice. And at each point, all of these things are sent to your .edu address that you used at the beginning of registration. So those are both available here on our website if you ever want to review them, download them, keep them on your bedside table. You can also sign up for our newsletter here, which sends out updates about cross-registration, including when the catalog is complete, when the portal opens, anything like that that you might want to keep track of. It's twice a month during the school year. So I highly recommend you sign up for it. It's a great service. So this is if you are a new student, you have to fill out the new student form, which there's a link here. It's also under resources, new students. And that's only done once during your entire time at the BTI school that you go to. If you switch programs, like I went to Boston University for my master's, did BTI coursework. Then I went to Boston College for my PhD, also did BTI coursework. I needed to re-register when I changed schools or if I had changed programs at BU. So you get into our system in one program, you graduate, then you'll need a new login to continue. But returning students in your one MDiv 3-year program, you only have to fill out that new student form once and your credentials are reused every single semester. So that's handy. So that's the basics. 1, 2, 3, browse courses, log into the portal, click submit. So we will put some of these reminders listed here just because, as I mentioned before, it can be easy to forget that only the approved courses are available for cross-registration, not necessarily everything at a school. Harvard has a shopping period, which is unique to our system, and the details on that are here. The timeline is a lot later than other schools. Usually that second week of January is when they will process things for spring, and that last week of August for the fall. So because of the shopping period, there are some details here. And they actually added a BTI column because of that delay on their own public course listing pages. So you can see any changes if a professor cancels a class or if they change the date or time. We put those changes in the portal, but they also update them on their website, and there's a tag that says open for BTI cross-registration. So that's a great service that they offer. So we're all on the same page. And then I've listed their cross-registration email directly here. His name at the current moment is John, and you can contact John at this email address with any questions particular to Harvard's process or the course that you have requested to take. In that vein, you will also use the registrar contact list, including HDS, if you need to submit professor approval. So usually you gain that through an email to the professor as required in the course catalog, and it'll say that very clearly, and you can email that approval directly to the host school that you are required to get professor approval at. And then also finally, this is one of the challenges of cross-registration, is you really need to plan for variable dates between the two schools. So we all know that academic calendars change every year, but it's important that you note that because of the religious affiliation of some of our schools, there are lots of different moving, changing dates that can impact your ability to take a course successfully at another school when you are at your home institution. It's not insurmountable, but you do want to make sure that you have the academic calendar in mind when you request to register, and make sure you can make it fit in your schedule, either for differing spring breaks, right? You might not get a spring break if you are taking a class that has a different spring break than yours, or it might look different. And you might need to note, for example, at Boston College, when they close for Easter Monday, Tuesday becomes a Monday schedule of classes. And you just want to know how to plan for those types of events. And I will say that professors are quite flexible and often completely accommodating and understanding when it comes to balancing the two different types. So this is the first blue button on the page. The two blue buttons on the page are the place you go to look at the two main items you're going to want to interface with. Everything to this point is all background information. It's all things that you can read through at your own pace and your own time, and they're always here as reminders of how the process works and if you have any questions about it. But with the course catalog, which will open at bticourses.org, it's an independent website outside of our home website. And so you can bookmark bticourses.org if you'd like, but you can also always access it through the button. And this is where you go and you use it like Google. If you'd like, you can search like a keyword here, like I'm going to put in doctoral, because sometimes PhD students only want doctoral level courses, and they're all listed here. And you can search for a professor's last name, and you can see that they're teaching a systematic theology and philosophy class. And you can scroll down and see where it's available. From the home page, you can also go to click on Start Here to review all that material we just went through. You can click on each school and see the courses that are specific to that school. If you're really interested in taking a course at Boston College, you click on that school. You can also search by our 3 certificates. And so that includes all of the pre-approved courses for these certificates. Some have core classes that are required, some have all electives, and they're all listed here so you can quickly see what's available for you the next semester coming up if you're trying to pursue a certificate. You can also go through and look at categories. These are very broadly construed, so my apologies for some lack of precision, but it was so we only have 16 and not 50. And so you can broadly choose which you are interested in, click on that, and it'll take you to every course that is tagged with that information here. So we've got elementary Pali, we've got ancient Greek, because I'm in languages, and so on and so forth. You can go through that. And as always, the contact us button is here if you need it. So I'm going to return us to our cross-registration homepage and scroll down. Let's say I have already chosen my course, but I see this note and I say, double check the Excel. Okay, so I'm downloading this and I'm going to open it in my Excel. So this is what it looks like. If you don't have Excel, you can open it in Google Sheets. And this has all of the courses information in a searchable Excel. So just like Word, you can use Control F or search in this bar in the upper right for anything. Like I'm going to search for Mary Jo's last name, right? And it'll find all the places where she's listed. And then if I wanted, I could also filter it by instructor. So I could go through here, scroll down, and see that I wanted to just have the courses Amy Hollywood is teaching, and I can see that she's teaching just the one. I'll go back to select all. I can search for course days, times, whether or not it's online. I can search by any sort of professor approval required, prerequisite, the grading options. All of these are searchable and filterable by category. So if I want to see everything offered in Buddhism, If I want to see everything offered in church polity and canon law, I can do just that. So all of that is here for you in an Excel format if that's ever helpful, or if you ever have a question. This is the exact data we use to build the BTI courses website and to build the portal, which is where we'll go next. So that Excel is always there for you in case there's some sort of blip on the bticourses.org site. We just have it there for your information and for backup. Or if you're like me and you're kind of old school and you like Excels a bit better, it's there for you. And so when I'm going to register, I see my second blue button on this page. And I first note that I'm going to make sure to have my BTI consortium credentials handy. That, as we put in big bold down here, is not your school email. It is your BTI username that ends in bostontheological.org. And so it'll be likely formatted something like your last name at bostontheological.org. If you can't find it, you always can email us again at the BTI office email, and we'll secure your login credentials and send you one, your username and a new password. And, the note here is that make sure you filled out the new student form, but if you have any questions, you can always email us if you're unsure. Again, that step-by-step tab is linked here. The ad drop dates are listed here, and the COVID-19 protocols. So one of the quirks of our portal is that for security reasons, it needs to be done on an actual computer, so not a mobile or tablet device. And that simply has to do with ensuring that all the data is protected and kept secure. And so I'm going to click on this, but just fair warning, you're going to see a lot more information than you would, because I get to see all of the schools. So when you log in, you'll only see this top bar. That's it. FAQs, dates and deadlines, drop a class. These are all of my lists for the various schools that we work with. So that brown, don't get overwhelmed. That'll just be one little brown bar with 4 options. What you'll want to do is focus on this page. If you're looking for the course catalog, we'll remind you that it's not in here. It's back out like we looked at bticourses.org. And then we say, as a reminder, answer yes to these following questions. You have your credentials, obviously, because you got in. Did you get instructor approval if it's needed by email? And have you made sure you met the prerequisites? And if yes, you can go ahead. And this is another large note about making sure that you can abide by COVID policies. And so this comes up again, it's really clear, and it'll come up straight away with this form. And so the 2020 simply means that that was the last time it was updated. So I'm going to go back to the Excel, and I'm going to look at the course number column, and I'm simply going to copy and paste. Now, the reason I did that is because this is not like Google. This is not a search engine. This is a computer program looking for very specific things. Now, this is wonderful because I'm Stephanie and I'm logged in as Stephanie and I'm not a current student. So what might happen is that you logged in right after you got your credentials and your home registrar didn't have time to approve whether or not you could take classes. And so I was too fast for my registrar in this case, but actually it means that they haven't had a chance to approve you yet. And that means that they haven't released you to be able to cross-register. So simply that means I'm gonna come back later. And that is totally fine. If it feels like it's been too long, that you submitted your approval many moons ago, you can contact us and CC your registrar and we can try to move the process along. It is a computer program, so sometimes things go wrong, but usually we can get it fixed pretty quickly. And that's why we put, again, our email right here. And if I was really concerned, I could take a screenshot of that error message and include it in my email to the BTI office and make sure that they understand which error is going on. So if I had copy pasted correctly into here, I would simply go very quickly through the registration process. So it looks like this. You have the course number and then it comes up and shows you the details of the course that you are trying to register for. So you want to confirm that those details are actually what you want to see, and that's the class you're trying to take. And you simply press continue, and you answer basic questions. Have you taken a class at this host school before? Because that means if you have, the registrar will already have you in their system. If you have not, they will need to create a new ID for you. Select which grading option you want, and you click submit, and you'll get a submission confirmation, which looks exactly like this. And that's all you do. That's it. Bing, bang, boom. Very easy, very straightforward. Some reminders here, again, the flow of how the flow will happen and what will occur. Again, if you do the request before you submit the professor approval, or you think your registrar might not know that you have the prereqs met, you want to make sure that you send those emails straight away. In the portal, you can also, let's say you got through, everything was wonderful, you've registered for the class, you go the first day, and you go to all your classes the first week, and you realize it's really not going to work with your schedule. For whatever reason, it's not going to happen. So if that occurs, you do also drop the class through the portal. So here you also have all the instructions for how to proceed through the drop a course process. It functions pretty much, these are just the dates. It functions pretty much exactly like the initial process, but it simply goes in reverse. You withdraw, it goes to the host first, the host registrar, then the home, and then back to you for confirmation. A very, very important thing to note is that you are to abide by the earlier date of drop between your home and host school, the earlier date rules. And these are the links to the permanent academic calendars at all of our member schools. So because I'm not a student, I don't have any courses that I'm in right now, but they would show up right here. And I simply go through the process here of editing the item, answering a quick question about whether or not you wish to withdraw, clicking submit, and close. And like I said before, at any stage, if you get an error message, please include a screenshot and we'll get you fixed. But just so you know, you not only register through the BTI system, you also drop your class if it is a BTI class through our system as well. So all of this being said, and I know it's kind of an overload of information, you can always refer to any of these longer form instructions, any of the information. We've worked really hard to make sure it's all listed here. So it tries to be as accessible and clear as absolutely possible. So I'm going to stop sharing. A couple things to note about the process of cross-registration. All of that, not very complicated, but all of that, the filling out the form, the choosing the class, submitting it, that's fine. You can do that in your sleep. You are a very competent student. You've been through registration before. This is just another way of doing it. What I would like you guys to consider is that this is a really unique opportunity within theological education anywhere, but particularly in the US. We're actually the largest theological consortium in the world, and you have access to 9 other, if you're in one, 9 other schools that are fully available to the extent they can be to whatever you might be interested in. I have a particular expertise area in mental health and trauma, and I got that initial research area through my work at Boston University. And then when I decided to go to Boston College, one of the reasons that my dissertation director was excited to have me was not because she herself is an expert in mental health and trauma. She's actually not. She is a bioethicist, but more of a generalist. And she said, but I know through the BTI, you can continue to work with your prior advisor and in fact, take an advanced course with them in a directed reading that will fit and meet the needs of you as a student and a researcher So you are getting the most out of your doctoral program that you possibly can. You're not just dropped here and you have only the resources of one school, albeit a wonderful school and a very well-resourced one. You have 9 other schools on which to lean. And for me, that was incredibly powerful. And it was really definitive of the professional I have come to be and the research that I continue to do. Um, I offer that because I really want to encourage you to understand that almost anything is possible through this system. When I did that directed reading back at BU with Shelley Rambo, it was not listed in the course guide. It was something that I had gathered 2 other people in my program who were interested. Shelley had another person in her program that was interested, and we created our own course number through the BTI with the help of the director at that time. And we cross-registered, well, actually a little more complicated back in the day, but we cross-registered through the BTI and it was easy peasy. It allowed us to create, with an incredible professor, a very specific directed reading. There was no worry about the how it was going to work, how we were going to cross paths. All of that institutional collaboration has been set in stone over the last 70 years. The BTI was founded in 1968 and has always had cross-registration as a central value and a central service. And so really we are here to help you make whatever you want to make happen. Of course, there's limits, but most of the time there is a way to get creative, to ask a professor to open an extra seat. Usually they're pretty nice. I can speak for myself. I almost always add an extra seat if I can. But it is a real incredible opportunity that, if in practical terms, transportation and timing and all of those things you can make happen, it's really astonishing when I'm able to share that type of learning capability and learning opportunity with people who attend other schools throughout the world. It is something that I know myself and my team are really committed to making as smooth as possible. So if at any time you have one of these, oh, I think we're doing a directed reading, how do I make that work? If it's that question, if you have any, like we said, any exceptions to the rule, kind of what classes are open question, if you have any kind of technical difficulty, because as we all know, the best laid technological plans don't always work perfectly. Myself and my 2 interns are really here to smooth the way, to make sure anything that crops up is something that we can assist you with. I was also asked to offer the true support of the BTI board, which are the deans and presidents and chairs of all of our member schools, because they understand, although there are some practical challenges to cross-registration in person, especially getting across Boston, it really is an incredible gift and they don't take it for granted either. Their collaboration is really deep. It's very committed, and that they understand that alongside all the other things that the BTI is involved in, cross-registration truly is one of the best things we offer. So on that note, that's my 30-minute spiel on cross-registration. If anybody has any questions, please pop them either in the chat or in the Q&A. If you have personal, like I am doing this specifically, I would request that you send me an email. My email is Edwards, my last name, at bostontheological.org. You can email me directly. You can email the BTI office account and you'll speak with my intern, Jonathan, who can pretty much help with most things. But if there's a general question, I'm happy to take it. And if it's a very specific question to you and your case and your attempts to cross-register, I would ask that you email me after, just so I can handle it in real time, as opposed to during this little chat. Any questions? Thank you. This Q&A, I don't know if you guys can see it, says the BTI rocks. Well, thank you very much. But yeah, this is it, guys. It's really something that we are super happy to do. We are super happy to have you here. Um, I know that for me, the reason I'm so excited to work for the BTI every day is because I get to help you guys succeed and do some of the amazing work that I was able to do myself. So feel free to step out. That was the 101. Like I said, offer me any type of email that you find you might need. And I hope you have a wonderful day, but I'll hang out for a few more minutes if you have anything else. But thanks for coming.